We are back here on another Wednesday night. It is January 13th, 2021, here at Akron, Ohio, PolymerCityRecords.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Chris.
And this is 10 Cent Beer Night, the sports show of Polymer City Records. We got a lot to talk about. We've got a ton. We're going to start with your hat there, Chris, on a very disappointing but kind of not surprising outcome of Monday night's college football championship, where Ohio State Buckeyes got manhandled by the Alabama Crimson Tide. Nick Saban, the Ohio native, wins his 7th college football championship. Just, a remarkable achievement on his career and whatnot. How are we feeling about the future with Ohio State here?
Oh, they're all right. There's no doubt about that. Their recruiting is just always one of the top-notch recruiting classes in college football. I believe they can, the way what they have, how they recruit, I believe they can be back in the top 4. I believe that they can be back there. They're just so, the way they recruit, just so amazing. I mean, I'm excited for the quarterback next year. Possibly could be starting, I forget his name, but he's pretty good. So, I'd like to see some things changed up a little bit, and maybe get some defensive guys in there. Hopefully some of these younger guys on defense now will improve for next year. That'd be a key, because they were young. They were young on D-line and stuff. But no, Ohio State will be all right. They're going to win the Big Ten. Don't have to worry about that. It's just Ohio State's the top in the Big Ten. So,
Right.
I mean, Northwestern's getting good. Northwestern's getting there. Yeah, your Wisconsin's always good. Penn State's kind of iffy right now, but who knows? They might next year. They're always a team that can bounce back. So you're going to have your same teams, I think, be right in there again. But the Buckeyes are the team in the Big Ten, and the way they recruit, it's just phenomenal. How they're out with the depth is just so. I mean, there's guys that were starters, didn't even play. These younger guys are playing in that game on a Monday night, so it shows how much of the depth is. So it'll be all right. Just took a beating. I mean, it's of a Nick Saban team. He recruits speed. I mean, he loves that speed in all ends factors. Even with their top DB going out battles, and with them getting ejected, they were still solid. I mean, they bounced back after he got ejected, and they made that big stop there.
All right.
And so, I mean, Alabama is just Alabama. I mean, you got to play your best game to beat them. And Ohio State didn't play their best game, so.
Right. They seem kind of flat-footed and whatnot. Obviously, he was mentioning the Big Ten. Michigan wasn't named on there.
Yeah,
well. Like Harbaugh to extension. So, and that was intentional. That's not going to be a team that's going to be a threat ever while Harbaugh is there as coach there. So I just want to throw that one out there. My thoughts with it is, I was cheering for the guys. You always want your team to win. But I knew. Here's the thing: is last year's Ohio State team, I was really sold on. Defensively, they were through the roof, just incredible. Both sides of the ball worked well. Obviously, they lost to Clemson, so they didn't get to see Bama into that championship. Ohio State had just enough to beat Clemson and get there this year. Defense wasn't as good. Trey Sermon breaking his collarbone really hurt them. We'll see. I think he'll be back next year. I don't think he goes in the draft unless.
I think he's a senior. He's a.
Oh, is he? Yeah, I thought he was redshirt freshman. Junior.
Sherman?
Yeah.
I think he might be a senior, but you could be right. But I believe he's a senior from.
Well, if he's not back, I wish him well. Yeah.
I think it's a 1 year.
Fields did not show up. I think his draft stock kind of fell, but he's got a lot. He's got a lot to offer. Again, but what I told if somebody was asking me, why does Ohio State always seem to have the overrated quarterbacks? As far as the next level, and whatnot. I said, look, it's just not a program that's produced NFL material quarterbacks, and I'll say it about Alabama too. They find guys that are going to win them in their program. Whatever they decide to take to the next level, that's on them. You know what I mean? I do think Fields has a lot to offer in the NFL, but this performance hurt him. As far as what you said about the recruiting, it's actually better with Ryan Day recruiting than it's ever been. That's over Urban Meyer. Alabama and Ohio State the past 2 years have been fighting for that top recruiting class spot because he keeps adding and adding. He's gotten top in Ohio back-to-back years or something. He has a record there. I believe it or not, Ohio State's never always had the top recruit out of Ohio. They just have the best out of the group, but they don't always have the number one. Well, Ryan Day has changed that since. And again, this is only Ryan Day's second season. Right. So he's got his first season going to the playoff, losing to Clemson, regrouping, beating Clemson. So I think the next step would be find a way to beat Alabama or whoever in the championship. You're going to see these teams, as long as Nick Saban is there, I can see the next 5 years, 4 of the championships being against them. Now, again, like it was brought up before the show started, 2022 and 23, they play Alabama in the regular season. Right. So that is going to be critical matchups there for how the college football playoff pans out. But you've got Day recruiting all kinds of great receivers, including Marvin Harrison Jr. has committed to Ohio State. That's a big one. You got defense, offensive line. He's got Myers recruit a bunch of running backs before Day came in that are going to be coming in too. Ohio State's going to be You're not going to see the result you saw Monday night as a norm. Right. It's just this year it unfortunately fell through. I'm not going to blame it on how the season was set up because this was a very, very rare occurrence in college football. I think we're going to get back to normal starting in the next fall as far as scheduling and everything goes. I know the other sports right now have been leaning towards that too. Right. Professional or college, however you want to take it. But again, hopefully we will never see the scheduling conflict we saw this past fall ever again. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting. I think it's easier to take this loss, partially because in me and your lifetime, and again we're like 10 years apart in age too, but it's the same thing. We've seen this 5 times, 2 and 3 overall. So we've seen 2 chances. So we know they can do it. They can make it there. They've looked good. They look great with Ryan Day. The other thing too going in is we're talking about Ohio State and what they're going to bring up next year and the pieces they're losing. Bama's losing more pieces, critical pieces. They're talking about 6 or more going in the first round.
But here's the thing about Saban's teams though. It seems like they always win that one, and they don't win next year, and then they win the following year after that. Seems like they always have that miss, or they might go 2 years without winning and come back and win that third year. Seems like he always finds a way to get back. To get back in that picture of winning the championship. He loses a lot, and he always gangs. And it's just unbelievable what he does at Alabama, but. Ohio State does the same thing. They always bring in, too. They lose and they bring in. They always, just like a revolving door, one after another. So that's why you're going to see these 2 teams like this.
Yeah. Alabama's
just, you're going to see it more and more and more. It's just...
The program Saban set up in Alabama's a little more consistent. But again, you got to understand, too, down south, football's religion. Up north, in Ohio, football's a religion. Everywhere else around, it's not as... I know you got Pennsylvania that loves it, too. You got, but I'm trying to think of any other state I'm missing. It just doesn't compare well with Ohio there, and I know you got the East Coast there with, and I mean by the ocean with North Carolina, South Carolina, where it's very popular too. But Ohio, like they keep saying, in Texas it's a religion, in Louisiana it's a religion, in Alabama, Ohio's the only one you can look in the north and say they take football more seriously than anybody else, and they provide some great talent. And I'm talking the whole state, not just the Northeast region. But yeah, that's why Ohio State's a hot spot.
Urban's always recruited Florida guys. He was big on Florida guys.
Right, in Texas too. That was another.
So that was his go-to, recruiting guys.
That's what's made the program a bit bigger. Because I did like when it was his name is slipping my mind. The guy right before Meyer. Not Finkel either, even though he's doing a good job down in Cincinnati. Tressel had the attitude, we're an Ohio-only program, so he recruited the best of the best out of Ohio. He built an Ohio-only team. This one, it's expanded, because, Saban doesn't recruit Alabama only. Actually, if he had his way, he'd recruit more in Ohio. They just don't commit to him. They commit to Ohio State. But this opened up the program a bit where you had more transfers. You had more people. Again, we were talking Texas, Florida, the West Coast too, where Ohio State now has enlarge and become everywhere. I get the attitude. It's a Ohio only program, but if you can make it better and make Ohio State look better, win more championships, bring more recruits from everywhere, and it just makes the program a lot better. If you're a MAC school like Kent State, Akron, whatever, you might want to have that attitude. Add the occasional Michigan or Pennsylvania kid. You know what I mean? Michigan's also a big football state too, but not as much. That was the state I couldn't think of for some reason. I just ripped on them, and then now I can't even think about them. But besides that point, that I can see. But just if you're a bigger school like Ohio State, you got to go the national direction. That's just how you're going to dominate for more years to come there. So, now let's address the rumor. Supposedly, Urban Meyer had a sit-down meeting with Jacksonville Jaguars, and the rumor is he wanted to wait till after the Ohio State game to grab a couple assistant coaches. Nothing more's come out since. It's been a couple days since after the championship. Should we really count on Urban Meyer being hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars and to coach Trevor Lawrence down there?
I think Urban's itching. He might not say he is, but he's itching to get back in. Supposedly with his Buckeyes health issues, and then he had that scandal all brought up, and all that too. So, all that stuff's clear. His health must be doing all right. He's on, the network doing analysts. So, I think he's itching to get back in, and I would not be surprised if he's in Jacksonville, doing his thing down there and grabbing coaches from Ohio State. I mean,
it's going to be interesting.
But he's itching to get back in. He said he's not, but I know Urban. Urban he's one of them guys just doesn't keep.
It's part of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've heard this from Urban before. He left Florida for health reasons. A couple years later, he joins Ohio State. We've seen it with non-health issues, but John Gruden was another one. You didn't think he was ever going to come back. He came back. Nick Saban, they're asking when he's going to retire. This is his life. I don't think he retires.
Right.
And he's not that old compared to other guys that have stayed in the game long. I know it's stressful, but it keeps them alive.
He's 69 this year, I believe. So.
Exactly. He could do it for another 10, maybe even 20 years, as crazy as that sounds. Some of them are like that. Like, this is their life. This is what they're known for. As far as the whole Urban Meyer thing is, I think the questions I have to have is, okay, having him down there as a successful coach. Again, no pro experience, mind you. This is a guy, he coached for Bowling Green. He has some MAC in him there. Then he went to Florida. I think there was a school maybe between there. I can't remember.
He went to,
He wasn't with
Florida.
Cincinnati.
No,
that's
Bowling
Kelly,
Green.
I'm thinking.
Bowling Green.
Yeah.
And then Bowling Green, Florida.
Then Ohio
State.
Okay, yeah. And I think the issue I have with the whole thing is it's not losing Ohio State assistant coaches. Because, look, Meyer's going to do what he wants to do. I wish you the best of luck. What is Jacksonville going to pair in the front office with him? Because the latest, Chris, I don't know if you know, they're interviewing Ray Farmer this week.
Yeah.
Given what went down in Cleveland with Ray, pairing him up with...
Yeah.
Unless he learned a thing or two, that kind of happens. Pairing him up with Urban is kind of just like... It looks like looks like they're trying to hurt Urban for a couple of years. But,
right.
And I got nothing personal against Ray Farmer, but what happened in Cleveland was bad enough. And it just... And in Farmer's defense, too, I will say, there was one critical draft where Jimmy Haslam got in the way.
Right.
And if you look at who Farmer wanted to pick, they would have had a better outcome. However, at the same time, those weren't still the best players on board. There was still the texting issue. Hopefully he's learned a lot since then. Is this a case where they should let Meyer pick the GM is what I'm asking you. And I won't say, I'm not saying make Meyer the GM for the record, because most of that time that does not work, unless you're Bill Belichick.
Well, it's just St. Meyer's first interview. He's had multiple talks with Jacksonville already.
Right.
So who knows what they've already discussed and what, and, I think Meyer should pick everything, just pick it all.
Right.
The guys he wants, everybody he wants, just pick it all and just go at it. But I think he's ready to get back, though. I mean, just him just being an analyst, I think, kills him just sitting there.
Right.
He's able to go all these, stadiums and all that. I think he's ready to get back in.
I think that the other thing that concerns me too with this, because I like the guy a lot, I wish him well, is a lot of college coaches go to the pro level and they do not do well. Saban, I think it would have panned out if he stuck around a bit more. I know it looked a little shaky there with Miami the 2 years he was, but there's a reason he left. You know what I mean? You look at Lane Kiffin was another one.
Yeah.
That did not work out well. Now it's looking a little bit better in college, but still not perfect. That wasn't how he left Tennessee too. That was a whole mess within itself. But when he coached Oakland, there was another guy, I can't think of his name. He coached Atlanta. He left mid-season in his first year. He was with Boston College, I think it was, and did not shake up too well. And he up and left for Louisville, I think it was. You had Greg Schiano. Actually, that one, if you had the right GM, that would work. Just his play style, he was kind of old school.
Right.
Belichick was sold on him. Did not work out in Tampa Bay. He goes to Ohio State, does well. Now he's back at Rutgers and everything, where I think he belongs, in all fairness. And then there's a couple more. We got the Chip Kelly was another one. That was a mistake from the get twice. 2 teams fell for I think Chip's a solid college coach. I know down in Kansas right now it's a little shaky, but let him build his program a bit. Do we think that Meyer is pro ready? Or is college really his game? Like the way he coaches, the way his style is.
I think too I'm thinking the way how it all kind of went down at Ohio State. I think he doesn't want to come back to college level. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With the scandal and all that and everything when he was there. I don't think he would come back to the college level. People might look at him, why might look at him differently coming back, just because how he left Ohio State,
Right.
So I think he kind of wants to take that step forward to the next level and see what he can do there. If you get the right talent in there, it might take him a couple of seasons, but if you get the right talent in there and get the, right picks and all that, he can. His coaching experience, he can turn that program around.
And there's no denying Trevor Lawrence is a very talented player in the Jaguars. It's a lock pretty much. This time Jaguars will be picking Trevor Lawrence there. I know there's been the rumors, well, if Urban goes there, wouldn't he consider Fields? Meyer has already come out and said how great of a quarterback Lawrence is. There's no denying that he wants him in Jacksonville. If he goes there, nothing's official, nothing written in stone. Changing it up a little bit, but still with Ohio State. Herman was fired from Texas. A little surprising, a little bit an odd move. A lot of people think that program over there's a little broken. Does he come back to Ohio State? If Meyer takes the right assistant coaches along with him and they leave Ryan Day, I know they have that relationship. Herman did a great job while he was here. I think he deserves another head coach job somewhere else. But in the case he doesn't take it, does he come back for a year or two?
I don't know if I can really see that. I don't know if I can. If he does, a smart move on him though. If he does come back to Ohio State, but I don't know if I can really see that or not. It's surprising he got. In a way, it's surprising me he got fired. Didn't they win their bowl game too?
Yeah, they've
won their bowl game and he got fired.
He won 4 straight bowl games his first 4 years. Yeah. That's a record over there. They just didn't see it. They've moved on. I had to pull his name up. Steve Sarkisian, who was the offensive coordinator for Alabama. He was regarded as the highest rated next college coach.
Right.
He's coached USC before. If anybody does not know his history, he was fired from USC for drinking on the job. He would come into practice hammer. It was a sad story. He was an alcoholic. He had a problem. Texas Longhorns. I'll say Herman was a for sure thing. He's always run a good program. He made Houston great. He turned that program around. He's always been a good coach. I don't have anything against Sarkisian personally, but I understand the move in a way. But it's why wouldn't this guy's won 4 bowl games straight for you? Why wouldn't you keep him? See if he turns around and builds the program, right back up. He's been with you for 4 years. He's got to be almost there. You know what I mean? And with Sarkisian, what will be interesting is can he keep his demons down? You know what I mean? That whole situation at USC's been a mess since Pete Carroll left. You know what I mean? And they were all. the interesting story about that, a little behind story, since we talk Browns here too, is when Sarkisian was fired, they brought in the interim. Can't think of him right now. It's on the tip of my tongue, but he does a good job. They decided to keep him, and they did sit. The rumor has it they sat in that room, USC, and they said, "We're either going to keep this guy, or we're going to bring in Hugh Jackson from the Bengals." Yeah, that was brought up before the Browns even talked to Hugh. He had connections, and he was talked about USC. I know Marvin Lewis's name was up, but at the time he was still the Bengals coach, so he was it was kind of a no-go there. Not necessarily. I mean, if Bama can pull Saban away from the Dolphins, you know what I mean. But they kept that guy. They've done all right. I mean, it's USC. They're not the powerhouse they used to be. It's going to be interesting to see what if Sarkisian can pull that program through. But I'm just interested because I liked Herman. I thought he brought a lot to the table. I thought that this was going to be their best coach. Well, and technically he was. But now that sudden change like that, it just... I mean, if you have a winner, why wouldn't you keep... I don't know. The thing I was thinking, too, is, Texas UT used to be the big school down there. You know what I mean? And I would kind of view them as the Ohio State of Texas. Look around them. Texas A&M, Texas Tech, TCU. They're surrounded by better programs that taking these players.
Right.
And then you have guys like Ohio State, Maryland, maybe Nick Saban, Alabama, taking other players from Texas. So it gives you less to work with there.
Right.
So it's like, I don't understand, but I wish Sarkisian well, but I guess we'll find out there. All right, moving on. We touched on Ohio State. It'll be a better year next year, football.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Chris, you've been with us for football all season long, of course representing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Your off season's officially went underway after Sunday night. Let's talk about that real, because we have Steelers fans that watch this real, Obviously, they are in a very different position than they've been under the Mike Tomlin coaching era. What do you think they're going to do, and what do you want them to do? Just go off right now as far as going into Pittsburgh Steelers starting next year in the off. Well, I'll say starting the off season. What would you like to see, and what do you think they're going to do?
I don't know. It's it's been a winning franchise for decades. How could I say, it's the attitude and atmosphere of hard-nosed football always stuck in with the Steelers franchise. And of course, of late, you've seen different turns of the attitude and the atmosphere change. More stuff going on in the locker room. There should be going on. Just the whole dynamic of the past, probably, I'd say almost 6 years, the dynamic has changed.
Right.
I'm not blaming nothing on Tomlin or anything. He's done a good job. I think he's there, but
he's a Hall of Fame coach.
He's a Hall of Fame coach, but it's just like, it seems like the leadership leading has not been doing what they've been doing. So what I'm saying is that pretty much kind of churned how it churned to Sunday's game, where they were not just playing like Steelers football. And what I'm going to say playing like Steelers football is it goes to running the football. All the Super Bowls Steelers teams ran the football. They ran it well, and to the T. They ran it well, and they would beat you on the run. And then they would throw on you.
Right.
But the last couple of years seems like the dynamic of the offense changed, so they go to wide open pass, and they go to spread, and then they have Ben taking over the offense, leading the offense. They went away what worked, what brought them 6 championships there. So I think number one, that's a big of a problem, is the culture change it's losing. Of course, you're getting a lot of players are getting older. A lot of them, some of them are looking to retirement now, like Pouncey, Ben, a lot of them. Hayward's getting older. A lot of these guys are getting older, so you're starting to see the culture change, which it's very, it's about it with franchises like that. You're going to see it eventually happen, but you willing to have your guys behind you come up and perform and hopefully get that culture back and the attitude back. But what I've seen Sunday was very disappointing. I don't think I've seen a Steelers game even last year. Steelers went 8-8 last year,
right,
with backups in, and I believe they played with more heart and attitude and everything. What I seen Sunday was very not like Steelers at all.
right.
I mean, you give 28 points to the Browns.
Yeah.
You give 28 points up to them, just like that.
Which nobody does.
Nobody
no
does.
Offense.
No. And it's just like
first quarter, by the way, just one quarter, not a whole game.
Amazing. You think you guys would see? You think your players like, oh crap, what's going on? You think you didn't see no emotion? You just seen lollygagging. Still couldn't even run the ball. Still couldn't even make the 4th and 1s. I mean, it was just so terrible. Where it's disappointing.
Right.
It's hard for me to talk about. I'm so irritated about it because it's not Steelers football. It's not the way the franchise runs.
Again, it's one season though too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy for me to say because I got my way. I'm just being honest, you know?
Right.
The one I want to bring that up. 4th and 1, and he punts in the middle. How did you all feel about that?
Oh yeah,
because
right then I turned the TV off.
Oh, did you?
I literally turned the TV off. I got so pissed.
So you were done watching the game.
Yeah.
Oh, pissed is okay.
Yeah, I literally turned the game off. It walked away from it. Started watching something else, and I started getting on my phone. And then the comeback started happening a little bit, and then of course Connor fumbles, which is another guy that who knows might be there next year. They're talking about maybe moving on with him, but yeah, just the play calling, just the culture at all is not the Steelers' way. It's disappointing. I'm sure long-time Steeler fans been there forever. I'm sure they're disappointed as much as me, but it's a big game like that. It's a playoff game. It's a home game. Yeah, you have no crowd.
That's everybody right now.
That's everybody.
Yeah.
You have no crowd. Of course, you would love to have that crowd. I mean, after Pouncey snapped it over Ben's head, the game just flipped right there.
It reminds me.
Who would ever thought Pouncey, how many years Pouncey and Ben
played together,
each other would throw it over Ben's head? It's like it was
It reminded me of the Broncos Seahawks Super Bowl where after that happened, it happened with them. It was over.
But of course, they made that comeback in the second half where they made some changes. But 5 turnovers, you're going to lose the game.
Right.
I mean, you just Ben had 4 sloppy interceptions. I mean, passes to interceptions you shouldn't have been had, thrown to practice squad guys that. Okay, they want to make their name for themselves. Right. So I mean, you can't say, the practice squad team. These guys played hard. Browns played with heart. Steelers didn't.
That's what won them the game at the end there. I will tell you, we were talking about 4th and 1 play. Yeah. Everybody in the room I was at, they said, well, they're going to go for it and they're going to get it. Browns are the worst defense against the 4th down. They are. And when the punting squad came out, we were like, this has got to be a fake. There is no way.
Yeah.
And when he punted it, we said, what the hell? That was a gift. Like, we were just looking at each other like, this is not Mike Tom. Like, and I will say, I've always said Mike Tomlin's a great coach. But I was just like, Stefanski would have went for it if he was in that position. I'm just, and he's not even there. You know what I mean? But that's just, I was shocked right there. But season's over. I think now, here's the thing I want to question is, I'm hearing a lot of Steelers fans clean the swipe, rebuild, overload, this and that. I'm going to be technical as a Browns fan who obviously does not like the team, but watches a lot of football. Understand, I'm not a football genius. I have never played the game like you did in high school and whatnot. They don't have that many pieces. There are a couple pieces. Like one offseason is what I'm trying to tell you. They could flip back and go back to the direction they want to go.
Oh yeah,
it's what I'm saying is I'm looking at. Hard defensively. D-line could use some younger guys, but it's not far off. You said Hayward's going up there, but there's a couple pieces there that could start right away, or there's a couple pieces that get out there. Linebacker unit's great.
Oh, Bud Dupree. You get Bud Dupree and Bush back. I mean, I'm not going to say it's part of the game. Injuries are part of the game.
Right.
But
even the backups.
That did have a big effect on Steelers' pass rush.
I will.
When them 2 guys went out. That did debacle the defense, especially when Bud went out.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing it enough with Bush out, and then when Bud went out, that just seems like the defense debacled, and Watt couldn't do it. Watt was getting gassed.
Williamson got hurt in the game.
Williamson got hurt. I mean,
that's a good player.
It's just, everything just, seemed like it went to crap keep on going to crap after week over. See, you lose to Washington, you lose to Bengals, 2 teams right there you shouldn't lose to. I mean, a lot of these are just like I'm saying, the culture and the attitude, and
it went up from 11-0 to 1-5 at the end of the season.
11-0 was a shaky 11-0. I don't think they should have been 11-0 because there's games that they technically should. There's some games between 11-0 they should have lost.
It is what it is, yeah.
But it started showing towards the later in the season, showing how these close games have been playing. They're losing. They started losing games, so it started showing. But it's just it's disappointing. I'm more disappointed about I think the effort of. Yeah, they bounced back a little bit in that game. They they made some nice game time adjustments at halftime. They started picking on Brown's secondary. They doubled up on Garrett, which helped. Gave Ben some time to throw. So, they did stuff like that, which worked out. But with 5 turnovers, you're going to lose.
Right. If
they would have came back in that game, I'd probably be sitting here still shaking, like freaking out.
Because they didn't play well.
They still would have came back, but they did not play well at all to win. It's it's their own fault. It's the mindset. You got Juju doing all this stupid stuff all the time. He's not focused. Yeah, he's young, but
a lot of receivers in the NFL really
top
need a
wide receiver in the league.
Yeah.
You gotta be focused.
Right.
Exactly. He wants to do all this TikTok stuff and all that, and so he gets unfocused. The team wasn't backing him up. I don't know if you noticed that.
They
didn't back him up.
There's some pictures of him talking to Pouncey and Roethlisberger, and they're just looking at him
they didn't back him up. So there's a lot of things, but Browns deserved to win. They played hard. They played with their hearts out. Steelers just crapped on their own field, and there it is.
Quickly breaking down the roster a little more going into the offseason for the Steelers. Defensive backs. Okay, you got Minkah, one of the best in the game. Yeah. That's fine. Joe Hayden's up. His contract's up. Do they resign him or they look for younger? Because they do need a couple updates at cornerback. See, I do think.
Hayden, last 2 years, Hayden's playing some decent football.
Yeah.
I mean, he's actually had a percentage of interceptions were up.
Yeah. And I know he wanted to play the last
concussion
games.
hurt him. It hurt him. COVID hurt him.
COVID, yeah.
He's
had concussions too.
Concussions, yeah.
Trust me, we had.
He's actually played well. He's played. No offense though. He's been playing better here than he did in Cleveland.
He's probably got better coaching.
Yeah.
If you look at what they had,
he's actually been playing well, which it's.
And I think getting cut from the Browns too was a mental reset too. So are you saying you would like him back?
I would mind him back.
Yeah. So all right, you got Hayden, and I would still get a younger cornerbacks if I were you, maybe in another safety with Minkah. But other than that, most of the defense is set. We broke down with that. O-line, I've always said they've always need to upgrade it, get some younger guys, and I think now it showed its time.
Yeah.
Now, receiving, I would say maybe another tight end. This is a great draft for tight ends coming up. Ebron's good. Nothing against
Ebron's good, but I don't know if he's another one that seems like his focus is kind of off too. He drops a lot of passes.
It's interesting the Lions and Colts didn't bring him back.
Yeah, he's good in the red zone. He's great in the red zone, but it seems like he drops a lot of these easy routes he's doing. He drops a lot. I think a lot of him is focusing, but it was a big increase getting him though in the off season. I mean, that was nice.
Right.
Because he proved in games big catches, but. I don't think he should be back. I would assuming McDonald. I don't know about McDonald though. He don't get a lot of playing time, but he's just getting old.
He just looks like they're blocking tight end where they rely on receiving. Yeah. Receiving core taking ego aside is very good too.
Yeah.
Deontay Johnson, of course Juju again gotta get his head out of his ass.
Yeah.
Chase Claypool's gotta get his head out of his ass. Rookie guy.
Washington.
Yeah, Washington. I mean, so that's set. You don't think you need an upgrade there?
No.
Talked about running back, which does need an upgrade. Connor's always hurt, and he's starting to get a little slower too.
Yeah.
I told you before the beginning of the season, I'm a big fan of Benny Snell. Do you think he fits in the future, or is that somebody they're just going to hang on to see what he'll do?
I think they're going to. I think they trust in Snell. I think they're going to keep him. Will he be the starter? I don't know.
Right.
He's a good reliever. I'm not sure what's up with McFarland. Tomlin was high on him. He played this Tomlin son at Maryland. Blah blah. He was high on him. He don't even play him on Sunday, which the previous week they played. He had some good runs.
Right.
I like McFarland, but I don't know what direction they want to go with him. Steelers need, like I was telling you last April, they should have drafted Taylor from Wisconsin. Jonathan's running nuts in the Colts. He's been playing well football. I wish they would have drafted him. I told you I was big on him, getting him. They had him. They could have had him. They could have picked him up, but didn't. Of course, can't go wrong with Claypool's.
Right.
I mean, can't go wrong with that.
Right.
They needed AB's replacement, and they got AB's replacement. Claypool's. But I still wish they would have drafted Taylor, and they needed to get back to running the football.
This is another great running back class going into this draft. A lot of mock drafts have. This was even before the loss on Sunday. Had Tenney, I think is how you say his name, from Clemson, going to Pittsburgh. Right. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I won't mind it.
He's supposed to be a top running back, but with everything, all the other positions and the needs other teams have, he's going to slide. I think my final question on the roster, and you know what's coming. Other than, kicker and punter, whatever. They'll figure that out.
Kicker, they're fine. Boswell's fine. The backup's good.
Yeah.
Their backup's good. Boswell's is injured. That was his problem. He had a horrible year last year, and this year he bounced back.
Right.
This year. He just got injured problems this year, growing problems.
My point was the kicker wasn't the reason they lost on Sunday, pretty much.
Yeah.
But Roethlisberger's got 1 year left. Do they keep him just because of his history, and does he mentor the young guy?
Knowing the Steelers, though, they'll keep him. Be a curtain call year. Though it's last year, they'll keep him. They'll let him ride out.
Do you want to keep him?
Not really, but of what he's done in Pittsburgh, I would keep him just for that.
It would probably be. I have a hard time seeing
won
him.
2 Super Bowls, been to multiple playoffs, been to multiple division championships,
Pro Bowls.
You can't just really cut him aside. Yeah, he's old.
Right.
That's his problem. He's old. He can barely move. His injuries, everything's just adding up. He's 38 years old. He has a 7-year-old body.
Right.
He's 38 years old. He's old. His time's up. He even knows it. But what I would like to see is they go to the free agency, pick up a veteran quarterback, bring him in. You can have him sit behind Ben for a year. If you can, the cap space kind of tough in Pittsburgh now.
Right.
Or you go to pick up a veteran quarterback, let Ben go. St. Albans, let Ben go, have him go to the sunset. Retire, pick up Wentz or Watson, draft a quarterback, groom the quarterback.
Is Rudolph done?
I think they can keep Rudolph for third.
Rudolph third, okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to mention to you too, as far as other options. You hit them all.
Yeah.
I predicted since Wentz was benched, he was going to end up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think that's a good fit. A veteran quarterback, seasoned.
The type of quarterback he is, the big body, the big arm, I'm glad you brought up Watson, because I've been telling people, and for people that watch and do not know, Texans Deshaun Watson, who won the passing leader of the year, he is going to waive his no-trade clause, and he wants out of Houston. He doesn't like how they've performed the GM search, the coaching search. He did not like how they handled the civil injustice subject going last summer. He wants out. The latest rumor is a swap between him going to the Miami Dolphins for Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think, if I'm the Texans, and especially if I'm their new GM who just came from the Patriots, you need to give me more than Tua for Deshaun Watson. And that's why I brought this up, because if Miami comes down and says, well, we'll give you Tua and maybe a second or third pick, maybe multiple second thirds, if I'm the Steelers...
Right.
They're going to have to offer a first-round pick or two. Mm-hmm. Not just that, again, the guy came from New England. Belichick's probably sitting there on speed dial with the guy saying, look, I could use him.
Right.
You get 2 firsts for or whatever. I think the Watson era, it's not going to be directly Miami. It's going to be whoever offers the... And you understand, with this Texans offseason, they got screwed over in other trade deals. They were bottom 5 team, top 5 draft pick. It's gone to Miami because they're without their first and second round pick due to the Larry Tunsil trade there. Which again, he's good, but they gave up too much for the guy. That and Kenny Stills, it made no sense whatsoever. they're going to have to ask for the barn for Watson. They cannot take a Francisco Lindor deal.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later. Yeah, I think Pittsburgh is a legit. If I were to give top 5 teams where I think he's going to go, I will put Miami on there, but not over Pittsburgh and New England. That's here's another question for you. I was talking about Etaneni maybe being available at that pick, the Steelers' late first-round pick. Justin Fields did not play very well in the championship game. His stock is probably going to slide. If he is sitting there like Aaron Rodgers was when Green Bay took him, do you want Pittsburgh to take Justin Fields with their first?
Let him sit behind Ben for a year. I'll take it. He has an arm. He can run. I think Steelers need to go back to the Cordell Stewart days. Run the football. Because, it seems like some teams in the AFC have trouble defending. Like, look at Lamar Jackson. There's teams that have trouble defending him.
Right.
And he can throw the ball, too.
Right.
Get a mobile quarterback. Ben's not mobile.
No, he's not.
Get a mobile quarterback.
Which goes against the Carson Wentz idea, but that's a realistic idea.
But if Carson comes, I won't be mad because he's a veteran quarterback. I mean, get him the right line. He can wing that.
Get him
thing.
the right
coach. Get him
the
right. Get the right piece in there for him. He'll be all right.
Right.
But Fields behind Ben, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I love when Pittsburgh grabs the Ohio State guys. I love when they do that.
Random question. Obviously, offense did not produce this year like it's supposed to. Last year was a little different too. Doug Pederson doesn't have a job. Do you bring him in? No, good. You probably couldn't bring Winston if you bring Pederson in, but I'm as offensive coordinator. I mean, this guy, I'll be honest with you, I think Philly's out of their mind for the way they handled everything. Yeah. I think this is a guy. I know there's a lot of drama where a winning coach won you a Super Bowl, and has a history as a player with the team, and you're going to can him.
Yeah.
Like, there's something else going on over there and something in the water. So, I know I've heard rumors Jets are looking at him too now, but is that somebody you would consider? That's just coordinator, obviously, not get rid of Tomlin.
Yeah, I mean, you could bring him in. I do. I'm curious to see what Steelers decisions they're gonna make though in coaching wise.
Right.
Of course, Tomlin's not gonna go. He don't deserve to go.
No. He's never had a losing season.
Yeah.
The guy's been there for what, 12
Everybody's
years?
calling him for his head anyways, but that's just people just don't know what they're talking about. But
I've learned that football fans of all kinds are pretty stupid.
Yeah.
And like if they have a concussion.
But they do. I believe they do need an OC coach though.
A new offensive coordinator there.
I believe.
Who is their guy now? You don't even know.
And it's pretty bad when
you don't know his name.
Yeah, pretty bad when your quarterback starts calling his own plays. Ben was doing that this year. He was known for doing a lot of that this year. I don't know if he did it in the game on Sunday, though, but the Colts game, he called the whole second half. He was just drawing up plays in the huddle.
I thought that's what they were going to do with Baker Mayfield once the fancy wasn't there. Just play backyard football and let him call the plays and whatnot. No, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, as a Browns fan, I'm sorry, I do like it. You got to understand. But no, you are right, and that is something I haven't got away from. As much as I do not like the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have a reputation, they have a history of doing things right. And the one thing I want to point to you before we go on break too is this was a team, growing up in the 2000s period. They went into the draft, and you knew they were going to have a great draft. Okay, I was. If you can remember before the last draft, or the weekend of the last draft, that we had, I was just looking up the past few Steelers, about 3 years or more, their draft picks. First, second round, they tend to hit. The others, they haven't been hitting. And that has taken a toll on them, I think. Because before, this was a team, rounds 1 through 5, hit. And then they build on that, and they came in great, better and better every year. It's not happening. So, do they need an front office adjustment?
Like I said, like I was telling someone the other day, this loss might have been the wake up that they may need for the front office and everybody. This might have been that wake up they need. I know they've been lacking in some showing. Some of these drafts the last couple of years have been surprising who they take late.
Right.
But I think this might have been what the doctor ordered. This might have been a wake up call. for everything, just front office and down.
Right.
I think I'm more excited to see what's going on this off season.
Because they're actually going to do stuff.
Yeah, what's going to go on, how things are going to change. Because I tell you what, the culture of Steelers culture was, I thought last year with that 8-8 team, the culture was a lot better than it was this year.
Right.
It was very disappointing, but yeah, what you going to do?
Exactly. We got to take a break. We'll talk more about that and all kinds of stuff coming up. We have 8 teams left in the NFL. We're going to be talking about those playoff games, including the Cleveland Browns. Plus, we got to talk about a great trade the Cleveland Cavaliers put off today. And we got to talk about a not-so-great trade the Cleveland Indians put off last week. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in 5 minutes, guys, here at PolymerCityRecords.com.
These blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. Give me your right hand. The blues is a low down and a shaking chill. Yeah, it's preaching now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. Let these blues is a low down and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a low down and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. I can study the rain, or I drive my blues away. been studying the rain. I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery. Gonna stay out there all day. Up jumped the devil.
And we are back. Thank you guys for joining us here at PolymerCityRecords.com. 10-cent beer night. I'm Seth.
Chris.
And there's Chris there. We got 8 teams left in the playoffs here. Any other NFL news? The only one that comes to mind is, John Elway stepped down from his general manager spot for the Denver Broncos, which was huge. He still be present there. They have hired George Patton of the Minnesota Vikings. Patton was actually offered the Cleveland Browns GM position last year, and for personal reasons, dodged it, decided I'm not going to sign it after being interviewed twice, which led the Browns to get Andrew Berry back into the organization. So it was a win-win there for the Cleveland Browns in a way. And I wish Patton the best luck, but that's how I remember him. He's going to now go to Denver and try to improve the team. I don't know. I was trying to look for another word, because here's the thing: is I'm looking at that Denver team, and they got a good head coach. They got a great defense.
Denver's always a good defense.
Yeah.
That's been their bread and butter there. They've always been good on defense.
Their head coach, that's what he preaches there. Offensively, not terrible. They still have ways to go. So it's going to be interesting to see what Patton brings to the team. Because, of course, Elway's not calling the shots anymore there, for that we know of. And he should. I mean, if he hired somebody and stepped down for a reason, that just to save his legacy in Denver, then he needs to hand it off to a guy that is going to build there and work well with the head coach down there in Denver. But that's Denver. We will talk more about Denver another time. Let's talk about the playoffs here. We will start with Saturday's game at 4:35 p.m. It's the NFC. It's an NFC game. You were right. You picked the Rams to beat the Seahawks last week. They move on, and they're going to play the number 1 seed, 13-3 Green Bay Packers. Of course, Packers had that bye week, so they're a little bit more rested. Rams, a little beat up, but they're still tough. Who do you like in this one?
What the Rams is, they have Akers. He's underestimated running back in the NFL.
Right.
He had a heck of a game. I mean, he's been through a lot of injuries this year and sort, but he had a heck of a game. I'm talking about the Rams, I told you last week, they brought the run in this year. They're more of a passing. Even when they went to the Super Bowl, they're more of a passing team. They literally brought the run in this year. They are beating teams on the ground and throwing too. So I think that's helped them out. They slowed the game down. A lot of their game, they slowed it down, and I think it gives golf much more time to adjust by them running the football. Green Bay is Green Bay. Of course, they're going to be at home with no fans. That's kind of crazy, seeing a Green Bay playoff team with a playoff game with no fans going crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be much of a factor, but Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams is a good combo. How much is the bye week going to slow them up? I think it might be a little rusty, I think. Green Bay's defense hasn't been playing all that well. And that's what I'm going to throw out here is with their defense, and I kind of said this last week, Seattle's defense hasn't been playing that very well either.
Right.
And they got torched, especially in the run game. They got torched. Yeah, Adams was hurt. He's been playing hurt pretty much the whole year, and that showed a little bit last week for Seattle. But but it's like Green Bay's defense hasn't played that well, but they make them stops.
Right.
They make them big stops. Rodgers does Rodgers things. Adams, their connection's good. They run Williams and Jones with the ball, two head combos there. But it's playoff time now, and I'm rolling with the Rams this week again.
You're rolling with the Rams.
I think the Rams this week again. I think the Rams are going to go into Green Bay, and now one thing I'm still going to roll the Rams, but is Donald, is he playing or what? I don't know. He left the game. But that's going to be a factor if he's playing.
He feels really good 3 hours ago reported.
Okay, so if they can do what they did Seattle, do against Packers, put heat on Rodgers, make him a little comfortable. They got a run game, but you got to slow down Rodgers because him and that Devontae Adams combo is it's crazy. If they can slow him down, and if Rams can do what they did last week, run the ball well, and I think they pull off a close game. So it's 24-17 Rams in a close game. Surprising Aaron Rodgers. I think that's when they go.
That's where he's going to go. You have a great case to make here. This Rams team's very well coached. Defense is off the charts, especially if Donald's going to play. Won his sixth defensive player. Was it just NFC, right? Just NFC.
Yeah, NFC.
Player they get. Because that's how they do it in the NFL. It's either MVP, head coach, and the rest is division-based, conference-based, excuse me. No, very, very good team. I'm going to go a little biased. I'm going to go with the Packers here. And what I mean by that for people that don't know is, when I was a little kid growing up, the Browns weren't around for 4 years. Mm-hmm. Everybody had a team. I liked Green Bay. I liked Brett Favre. I liked their colors, until when the Browns came back, I brought my fandom to the local team. But I always said Green Bay can win as many games and Super Bowls as long as they're not playing the Browns. For once, we're entering the second round of the playoffs, and I have both my teams.
Yeah.
In the I was you could call Packers my playoff team because my team wouldn't make the playoffs. That's another story this year. But going back to this game specifically, why am I picking the Packers? Is I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers has had an incredible year this year. Yes, the Rams defense is very good. I would even go as far as to say probably the best defense in the league. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. This is a very fast-paced, up-tempo offense. You got Aaron Jones, too. Do not forget about him. Because I know you got Donald Block in the middle, but Jones is sneaky. Like, he finds his way around the defenses. I think this is going to be a close game until late in the Packers pull off a bet. I'm going to say 10 points. I'm going to say 31-21 on this one. I do like Akers a lot. He's got that small size similar to, and I'm not saying he's exactly the same thing, but it's Barry Sanders. That's what made him tough. Is they said we couldn't see him. He would be gone, and that's what kind of what Akers brings to the table there. I think what it's going to come down to is, you're right, Mike Pettine's defense in the Packers is not great. They just do enough. You know what I mean? Like, they just, they can force a turnover, they can make the tackle when it's needed, but they just do it. And it makes you wonder if no matter what happens, if he'll be back next year in Green Bay. I think what's going to come down to is how clutch Rodgers is going to be and how clutch Goff is going to be. Goff's a little banged up right now. Goff's good, but Rodgers, he's just that superstar. He is that Hall of Fame quarterback. He's been itching to try to get back to win another Super Bowl. They're at home. I'm not saying I can see the Rams win this game, honestly. If I had to put a bet on it, I'm going to say Green Bay in 10 right here. You know what I mean? It's just, again, it's that Aaron Rodgers factor. That's what I'm going to be concentrated. But we're talking about two of the best young offensive coaches in the league going right at it. It's just that I do believe, though, the Rams defense is going to be a factor on their side. So
with Goff being hurt, I think the run game helps him out more.
Yes.
Because he doesn't have to sling it like he has been doing in the past. Now with the running the ball more, I think it's kind of in favor of Goff being hurt. He can play, both ways. I mean, throw it and run it. So I think if Rams slow this game down and get to Rodgers and make Rodgers do stupid things, because Rodgers can make mistakes.
Yes.
He's shown that this year. He's threw a couple interceptions this year. Big interceptions, too.
You're right.
And
he can with this defense.
Who is Ramsey guard? That's the thing, too. Who's Ramsey going to guard? Is he going to guard Adams?
I think that's what's going to happen
here. Because he shut down Metcalf again.
Right.
For the second time this year. Metcalf had them two, the one for the touchdown. He had the other one big catch, but he pretty much shut Metcalf down again. Right. So,
and this is not to take anything away from Jalen Ramsey. He's an incredible quarterback. He's probably the best in the league, if we're just being honest with you. But Metcalf was slow the last couple weeks of the season. He wasn't himself. He's still a second year. He's got a lot to prove.
Yeah.
Though we're going to put him on Adams, I think, because that's their biggest threat. I mean, other than Adams, like Green Bay's got some solid receiving, but it's not great. That's what a lot of people think. Talking early about the draft, no matter what happens with Green Bay here, this is another great receiving class. They're going to pick wide receiver in the first round. They traded up, got a quarterback last year. It's weird. I'm not sold on that still. I think that was a reach. That's on them. But I think they do need to add a little bit more receiving, a little more depth with Aaron Rodgers, maybe even another back. Just give him more weapons. But again, they also do need defense. Green Bay's got actually a lot more question marks than people think, but that's just talking about the future. Right now, they can win. It's going to be close, it's going to be good, but I'm not going to say you're incredibly wrong with picking the Rams. It makes a lot of sense here. They've been here before, too. That's the other thing that they have.
I'm not going to be surprised if Green Bay wins.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers knows what he does. Throw four touchdowns. And,
that's why I think they're going to
yards.
Win. Right.
I'm not going to be surprised when it happens, but if, like I said, if the Rams can slow this game down and run the football well and, get into scoring opportunities, I mean, a pretty good game there down the wire.
Right. I do like the backs there. Oh, Rams O-line's a question at times. Some of it's old, some of it's over. Austin Corbett, for example, who's done, I guess, all right. He couldn't make the Browns team, but he's their starter out there. That was somebody that the Browns came out and regretted taken with a second-round pick. I mean, he could have improved. I mean, I haven't heavily focused on him. He could have taken the offseason. He could have touched up his game and to play better. But I think even with how iffy some of the Green Bay defense is, they break through that line, it's going to be a whole other game.
Right.
But these are two very tough teams. And these are two – I'll even say it. These are two teams that make a case even for a Super Bowl run. They just got to win this game. One. So he's going Rams. I'm going Packers here. We move on to the Saturday night game, 8:15. This is going to be a very good one. The 12-5 Ravens, who beat the Titans last week, will take on the number 2 seed Buffalo Bills, who are 14-3, beat the Indianapolis Colts in Buffalo. What are we thinking about this one?
I like Ravens. I think Ravens D is playing pretty well. They're healthy. Like I said last week, they're healthy. They held Henry to 40 yards.
They played very well.
I mean, you shut down the running game. Bills really don't have a running game.
No.
So that's going to be a little bit of a factor, I think. They're going to have to get to Allen. That's going to be I think Ravens' number one task is to get to Allen, make him feel uncomfortable, because he's a young quarterback still. If you get to him, he's going to be uncomfortable.
Right.
And I think it's going to be a close one. Going with the Ravens. I think Ravens are playing better football now than they have been.
Right.
The last couple of weeks, they've proven that they're a playoff team, proving who they are. It's kind of, what I should say, ugly that I'm picking the Ravens, but just they're a playoff team. The way they're just a playoff team. So I think it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be close. A lot of these games in the playoffs are close. You really like all last week's games are pretty
it's
close.
It's Game 7 every week.
They're gonna be close. So I think it's gonna be 28-21, late touchdowns by Lamar Jackson does something crazy, and late touchdown. So 2021
No.
Rams. Ravens.
Either I have the same feelings as this as the matchup we just talked about last time. That either team could make it, either team could win this game. But just like the last game, I'm going to go the opposite of you. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills, and here's why. Again, my gut is kind of thinking the Ravens might win, but my head is telling me the Bills, and I'll break it down for you here. All right, Ravens defense played very well last week. There's no denying that. They've been drafting great D-line and linebackers the past couple years that has really, really enhanced their defensive play. Got some younger guys and that are developing well right now as far as their football game. The thing is, too, is their defensive backs are a little overrated, I feel. You know what I mean? Tannehill just was not slinging the ball right, playing against them, so they kind of held in there. Not saying that they were bailed out necessarily, but Tannehill didn't bring his A game. I think it set him off that Henry didn't have his. All right, Stephon Diggs is going to be all over the field. That's going to be a headache there for the Ravens. Josh Allen is going to hit him. They are at home. They have that kind of that pump and that motivation similar to what the Cleveland Browns have, where we are that team up north that doesn't get respect, and now we look good, and we're here to kick ass, basically. All right, they don't have much of a run game, but Allen's going to, if he needs to run it, he's going to run it. I think the other thing too is, all right, Lamar Jackson, he's a great quarterback. We can all agree to that. They did not play Buffalo this year, okay?
Right.
But we were just talking about how great the Rams defense is. Buffalo, if I were to give top 3 defenses in the league, Rams and Buffalo are 2 of them there. Yeah. Bills will find a way to contain them. The issue Lamar has had is I think the Ravens run game might do decent in this one with Dobbins and whatnot. The issue they've had all year round is, okay, Jackson can throw the ball, but he can't consistently meet his teammates. Right. They were talking about Brown not developing the way they want to because he's not getting the ball. Jackson is going to have to throw this game. Yeah, he's going to have some space to run, but not too much. This defense is well coached. I mean, this is the same head coach that was the D coordinator for the Panthers when they went to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And he wasn't even under Rivera, and Rivera's a hell of a defensive mind. They're going to find a way to limit the run with Jackson. I've ridden almost Jackson's run. Believe it or not, I've ridden his run game off with this one just because I know what the Bills can bring to the table. He's going to need to throw it, and that might force some mistakes there. I'm talking 34-31, a high-scoring close game, and it's going to come down to a field goal, and it's going to continue Buffalo's great season. Again, though, the Ravens could win this game, too. They are talented enough. Again, this is a team. Harbaugh's been there. He's prepared. And again, this is new for the Bills and their head coach.
Right.
You know what I mean? But again, they're at home. I think they allow some fans at Buffalo.
Yeah, there's some fans
there.
Yeah.
It might snow. That's the other thing, too. But they're talking about snow in Ohio here. Not too much, but Buffalo, a little bit here is a lot over there. You know what I mean? And part of me thinks the Bills just have the edge on them this game. The Ravens go in the offseason. They're going to want to find a way how to better the pass game and update some of their defensive back situation there, because their defense is great, don't get me wrong, but it just that seems to be the hole there in that defense. But that's going to hurt them this game. I mean, not just Stephon Diggs, but you got Beasley out there who set records for wide receivers, 5'8", under 6 foot if you want to play. Actually, I think it was literally under 5'11" or 5'10". He set all the records there. They're going to come out firing on all cylinders. It's gonna be a great game to watch. Yeah. You know what I mean? But we'll see. So he's going Ravens, and I'm going Bills with that Saturday night game. We go to the next game, and of course this is the game I want to talk about. 3:05 p.m. Sunday. The 12-5 Cleveland Browns will go against the first seed 14-2 Kansas City Chiefs. These two teams have not met each other since Baker Mayfield's rookie year. Yeah. Mahomes' first year of being the starting quarterback for Pat Mahomes for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're the defending champions, and in order to continue their championship run, to defend it, they got to play the Cleveland Browns. This is I want to point out real quick before we make predictions and everything. The AFC quarterbacks that are left. There is not one 26 years old. The oldest is actually Baker Mayfield, and the one that's been the league longest is Pat Mahomes by 1 year. You have Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, both that were picked after Baker Mayfield. This is probably the sign of the new era of young quarterbacks here. This is I will draw you a picture real quick before you make your prediction. Kansas City, of course, a very good team. There's no doubt about it. Not much of a run game. Very great passing game. Defensively, they can hang out. They can hang on to you in the pass game. Run game, not so much. You got the Cleveland Browns. Hell of an offensive overall. Defensively, kind of against the run, pretty solid. Against the pass, it's just there's issues there. They do get their 2 cornerbacks back though. On top of that, you have former Kansas City Chief running back Kareem Hunt, who is licking his chops. He wants revenge. But on the other side, you have Cleveland native Travis Kelce, who wants to beat up on the team he grew up around. What do you see happening?
Yeah, remember Bell's there too.
Bell's there too.
He plays pretty well against the Browns. Yes. He has in the past.
But he hasn't played him in a while.
He hasn't played him in a while, yeah. But you remember he's still there. The rookie, the rookie's not whatever his name is. The rookie for Kansas City.
Claire Edwards.
Yeah,
Clear. Is he healthy?
I know he was banged up towards the end of the year. There, I don't know. If he
returns, he's officially returning. Yeah, he's officially returning.
He's a hard runner.
He is.
He finds holes very well.
Why they drafted him there?
I like Kansas City in this one just because, Super Bowl champs, Mahomes. But here's the thing, though, is Mahomes had 2 weeks off. Okay? 2 weeks off. Of course, they had a bye. So, what type of Kansas City team are you going to see early? Yeah, it might take them a little bit to gel in. But what type to see? So, is it going to be kind of like make mistakes? Kind of like last week. And the Browns kind of like get off their mistakes and kind of jump out early. Where Mahomes might have to fight back a little bit in this game. And then Mahomes does what he does, It's little things like that you got to look at in this game. Overall, if I like Kansas City's secondaries pretty well, they're pretty well athletic. They're secondary.
Right.
Of course, I like Kansas City in this one. I think it's going to be a game. Browns are going to play it hard. They're going to come out and play. Don't get me wrong. They're going to... But it could be a lot closer than what people think.
Right.
Could be a lot closer than what people are going to think. Of course, they're going to, they're going to think Mahomes going to do Mahomes things, but I don't think Mahomes is going to do Mahomes thing right away. Right. I think he's going to have a little bit of rust on him with this 2 weeks off, and I think Browns are going to hang in a little bit. But I see it being like, because Kansas City's defense is people have been scoring on Kansas City's defense. It's just teams. Kansas City's offense is so good. They can bounce back real quick after a score. They're so good. So I see it being like 42, 28 maybe. I can almost see Browns scoring 28 on Kansas City. I think Kansas City offense, when they get that tempo going, I don't know if Browns defense is going to be able to hang with that tempo. What Mahomes can bring. I don't think they're going to be able to hang with that tempo. But, if Browns win, kudos to them. Heck, beat the Steelers in Kansas City. who would ever thought about that? Who would ever thought about that? The Browns pull it off. But Mahomes is just too good.
He's
just too good.
He is very good. He's
not Ben Roethlisberger, 38 years old.
Right.
He's younger. He's ready to go for years and years and years. He's not so task is going to be a little different for the Browns.
Right.
They're not but I believe Kansas City should win, but always upsets playoff time. It can happen, but
right. This is going to be the Browns' biggest test here. I will tell you before I give the prediction that I'm not going to go against my team. We're going to win this one. If we lose, it's going to be by 17 or more.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I think you're right on the point. I think Kansas City will score around 42 points. And if the Browns were to lose this one, that the Chiefs eventually break away and there's a big gap somewhere. It's just that my attitude was when we made the playoffs, I was just not going to go against. So it's like, we're here. Screw it. Exactly. You know what I mean? I've been waiting years for this. I will say this is a big one. This would be a statement win. So how would the Browns win this one? I think some people are wondering because, like you said, Pat Mahomes, the real deal, no doubt. I mean, he got a $500 million contract. He won a Super Bowl. He came back. He earned that Super Bowl. They won because of him. There is no denying. Some have even questioned if he's the heir to Tom Brady in the AFC there. Here's the thing is, a lot has happened between Sunday night's win and now. Kevin Johnson, the cornerback, not the wide receiver. A lot of people remember the wide receiver. And Denzel Ward are officially back. Okay, that is huge. We could have used them last Sunday because of COVID. They couldn't. Joe Bitonio is still up in the air. That will be huge if he's able to play. Ward sounds pretty positive right now. Kevin Stefanski is back, so that's big. I mean, the fact that they won without him last Sunday was big within itself. You're going to see... Again, this Kansas City team's not great against the run. You're going to see them run the ball a little more. They're going to switch up the passing game too because that's just what they like to do. They like to do some play action, move it around a bit. And again, I think every game plan's a little different per team. I saw a lot less play action against the Steelers because Steelers blitz and they're right on you. You do play action the wrong side, they got you right there. And I think it happened once or twice. I can't remember. My head was all over the place in that game. So going forward. How does the Browns win this game? They've got to contain Mahomes. They got to continue what they usually do against the run guy. Like, you're right about the Le'Veon Bell thing. But again, this is a different defense than it has been in the past. Le'Veon Bell's also not the running back he used to be. But Edwards-Hilaire's a fresh set of legs. That's going to be a problem, especially in the passing game. That's going to be a problem there. Kelsey's going to have about 140 yards on the Browns. I have it. That's his main target. Again, he's from Cleveland. He wants to play hard against the Browns, and that's what's going to happen here. Here's where it's going to be close up to halftime. I don't know who's going to have the lead, but it's going to be really close. And then it's going to be the third quarter and early fourth quarter. That's where the turn's going to happen for each team. I will tell you my bold prediction in this. Kareem Hunt runs for 200 yards. Because this defense, they don't do well against the run. Hunt is focused. Baker Mayfield was saying, they were asking how, because Hunt took a couple hits in that Steelers game and kept moving on. He said the Chiefs were on his mind the whole time. That's what kept him balanced. That's what kept him focused. I mean, as great as Nick Chubb is the starter in Cleveland, but in this game, Kareem Hunt is going to be the starter for Cleveland. And then you got the heart, you got the motivation that's never been there, that is there now. And there's been more gas added to the fire. You have Chase Claypool, he said something. You have Sammy Watkins, he said something. The only compliment they've got on this side so far, Pat Mahomes, of course, the big pro. He was saying, Browns are a good team. In order to beat them, we have to play our best football. Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback. So he set the level. It's like, look, we got to take these guys seriously. They're here along with us. They made it this far. They're going to want more. You know what I mean? I'm going to say 48-42 Cleveland Browns. And it's going to come down to Pat Mahomes needs 6 points in extra point. And somehow, the one thing this Cleveland Browns defense has been good at all year is they can find a turnover. You know, it's a little. They're going to work defensive heavily in the offseason no matter what happens. But I'm excited. I got a good feeling about the game. I know this is tough because if, let's hypothetically say I'm right and they win, they're either going to play the Bills with a similar fan base, a similar attitude we have, or we're playing another division rival.
Right.
Like it's going to get interesting no matter what. And then whoever wins that, and if, let's say the Chiefs do win, it's going to be a tough matchup for them no matter what. You know what I mean? Because you got the Ravens who are hungry. They got beat by the Titans last year. And then you got the Bills who are really happy. They don't want to settle for now, but they're happy to be in the conversation because it's just like the Browns. It's been years, you know. So he has got Chiefs. I got Browns as far as that.
Yeah, one player I want you to kind of left out here is Tyreek Hill.
That's going to be
tough. If he gets let loose, breaks away through that secondary.
Right.
I mean, that's what the Browns secondary. Yeah, they're going to have Ward and stuff back, but they're not. They're almost there. Greedy's going to come back next year. You know, they're going to.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with him.
But I mean, they seem like they give up big plays.
They do, and that limiting the big plays, and that's why they played the Steelers the way they did, was because they're like, if we give up the big play, this is going to hurt us. I will tell you, if they put Ward on him, because I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what strategy Joe Woods is going to bring to the table. I'm not going to say he's going to be completely shut down, but he's going to have a hard freaking time because Ward is tough. Ward's a top 5 cornerback in my opinion. And that's not just because he's a Cleveland Brown. He has proven he will tip passes, he will disrupt everything, and he'll get you interceptions. I mean, he's hard. The issue with him is he gets hurt so often, but he's here. He's off the COVID list. You're right. No, Hill is a threat. He is a nasty wide receiver in this league. But again, if you put Ward on him, you got a whole different kid. That's where I think they're looking at the middle. They're looking for Kelsey. They're looking for the Cleveland kid to change it up. We'll see if Watkins still doesn't like the Browns passed up on him in that draft, In the end, he ended up being the best receiver. The best receiver in that draft is in Cleveland, but he's not playing on Sunday, unfortunately. Again, that's going to be a fun one. And then we come to, Chris, we got a legendary matchup coming up to end the second round of the playoffs at 6:40 on, it'd probably be NBC is probably going to have it. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For the first time in his career, he's going to play Drew Brees in the playoffs. This is a tough one. This is there's a lot going on with this one. How are you feeling? I mean, this one could go either way. All of them could, but this one's a little special. These are 2 Hall of Famers going at it for potentially their last chance at a Super Bowl.
Right. Man, this one's tough. Let's see, defensive-wise, you look at both teams here. Both teams give up. Saints
They're not perfect.
Tampa Bay gives up. They're both not perfect.
I wouldn't even say they're top 10. Either one of them.
Running game.
Kamara's
got the it factor in the running game. And then he got
Ronald
Jones. But he's been banged up a little bit.
You got Fournette there.
The wide receiver game, you got so you had ABO there now, which has kind of helped out. You got Mike Evans playing.
There's
a lot to look at this game, and it's one.
Ronald Jones still sidelined. Hopes to be closer to 100% near Saints. It sounds like Mike Evans is going to play.
This one game's actually hard for me to pick. Tampa Bay kind of struggled last week a little bit.
It is in New Orleans, by the way.
Tampa Bay kind of struggled last week a little bit. Washington's D kind of hung in there. The third-string quarterback played pretty well. It was a close game. Super Bowl's in Tampa. Can Tampa be in the Super Bowl? I'm going to Saints this one. I'm going to go Saint this one. I believe it's Rivers. Brees' last hurrah. Even said pretty much looks like retirement.
Right.
I think their defense plays well at home now. Saints' defense plays well at home, so I'll go with Saints this one. Tom Brady will shake hands after this loss because it's Drew Brees.
Right.
So he won't, you can't look him down like he does some other quarterbacks.
Right.
He will shake hands, so it's going to be high scoring because the way both defenses are. I believe it's going to be high scoring. So I can see it 42 to 38, something like that, 35, something like that in the range there. I almost could see safety somewhere too in the game.
Right.
So I got Saints, but if Tom Brady pulled this one out, it would be huge.
Right. For the first time this evening, I'm going to agree with you, and I think this is why I'm going 52-42. I think this is going to be a shootout. Here's my reason why is one guy, Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
That's like we said, both defenses are perfect. You brought up Saints defense tends to play better at home. Yeah. They are the number 2 seed. Buccaneers are number 5 or 6, I think it's 5. Which doesn't matter at the end as long as you play your game. But just the Saints have been very dominating this year. Kamara is going to go off again like he did with the Vikings on Christmas Day. We could be talking about 6 touchdowns passing, rushing. not passing, excuse me, receiving and rushing. If he passes touchdowns, good for him. But he is going to have a field day, and he's going to have to remember what Marshawn Lynch did to the Saints years ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that long ago, but it was about probably 7-8 years ago.
Right.
That's what he's going to look like for the Saints this game. And this is going to be the game. No matter what happens, I think Brees is going to retire this year. Yeah. As cool as it is to see him win a Super Bowl, the only time I don't want to see him win a Super Bowl is if the Browns are playing. If we're still in that conversation, then. But if again, like I said, Packers are my team. But if he beats the Packers, good for him. I like Drew Brees a lot. I like Sean Payton. I think that's a great that's the organization I kind of want in a way. Kevin Stefanski to base the Browns off, and that's what Rex Ryan thought when they hired him. But that's a different story. But just looking at this matchup, they've never met in the playoffs before. They've never met in the Super Bowl. They've always had good matchups against each other before. Now that Brady is in the NFC, this has been able to happen. I think this is the game when the Saints win. Brady shakes hand and Brady tells himself, I got one more chance next year. And that's where he really pushes his limits next year. This is going to be... This might be... the best. I'm going to put my fandom for the Browns aside. Yeah. As for football fans, this could be the best game of the week.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of course, I'm going to feel the Browns pull it off. That's going to be all I care about. Yeah. But in all reality, this is an iconic game. How many times are you going to see these two guaranteed Hall of Famers go at each other at the age they are to try to advance to the conference finals? You know what I mean? It's going to be a heck of a game there. Again, looking at the injury, it's looking like Mike Evans is going to play. Ronald Jones is going to sit. It's going to be, and again, what people got to remember too: these two teams are rivals. They don't like each other.
Right.
These are two divisional rivals. We're talking about the whole Tom Brady, Drew Brees scenario. These are two teams they cannot stand each other. You know, and this is their Pittsburgh and Cleveland. This is a big deal for them in the NFC. So, and then winner, of course, is going to play Rams or Green Bay, and that's going to be interesting. If Green Bay wins, it's going to be in Green Bay. But if Green Bay doesn't, it's going to be who has the higher seed right now. And so
it might be Saints one. I think it could be the Saints.
If we're right, it's going to be the Saints. You know, if we're wrong, I think the Rams have the edge over Tampa. I'm not sure. Yeah. That'd be no fans in that new stadium in LA. That's weird. LA, it's Las Vegas.
Yeah.
These are new stadiums that nobody has set foot in yet, so it's kind of crazy. We got a couple minutes left to our last break. I wanted to bring up yesterday because we have a lot of Browns fans that watched. Yesterday was the 1-year anniversary when they hired Kevin Stefanski, and I know a lot of people were skeptical about it, but we're still playing after his hire. About, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 years ago today, I said the Browns got it right with their hire of Hugh Jackson and said that they actually got a football guy, and you can tell how that panned out. So I don't always know what I'm talking about. Just to throw that out there. So that's amazing how much things have changed since then.
Right.
And it's just, I saw that in my Facebook memories, and I went, oh, no. Yeah. But I had people underneath say, oh, yeah, I think this is a great pick. This is the guy.
Right.
So it's nice there. Something I did want to mention, because we've gone back and forth with the Steelers and the Browns, as I made a comment to you, and I stand by it. The AFC North is going to be the division to watch for the next decade. I'll go that far. You look at where they're at. Okay, Browns are turning a new leaf. Steelers, I said one more offseason, they're still going to be in the talks with the league. You got the Ravens. We both hate the Ravens, but we know they're good at what they do. And you got Lamar Jackson there. Real quick, let's talk about the Bengals, who it's an interesting situation because Zach Taylor, I believe, is a good coach. But I'll go out and say record, Mike Brown, the owner, is the worst owner in the NFL. Say what you want about Jerry Jones. Mike Brown has made mistakes that make Jimmy Haslam look like a god among men. You know what I mean? And it's just, I'm looking at the team. Okay, Joe Burrow, he's the real deal. That was a great pick. They're sitting there with the 5th pick overall. They need defense bad. They need O-line. They're talking about wide receiver. They're talking about Jamar Chase has been in the conversation. Davion Bell, not Bell. The guy from Alabama. The guy that won the Heisman.
Oh, Smith
Davis. Yeah. If they get one of those with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, that's disgusting. Mm-hmm. That was going to make me mad. But do you blame them?
No.
Do you blame them? This is going to be an interesting offseason for the Bengals because they could be that team that shakes off not just the division but the conference.
You got to look at some of these games this year. Yeah, Cincinnati's this year wasn't their year, but look at these games though they've been in though. The Browns twice. They had the Browns to the wire twice. Right. Okay.
They blew it the one time. They should have won that.
Should have won that. Steelers, of course, they beat the Steelers with the backup the second game.
Right.
But of course, Burrows got pretty much worked up his first game against the Steelers.
Right.
But I believe Burrows would have had a better game the second time around versus the Steelers.
Oh, he would have. He's that quarterback.
Look at some of these games were just close. That they had that one tie. I think that was Philly, right?
Philly, yeah.
Philly won the last, wasn't overtime or was it overtime?
Yeah.
Scored a winning touchdown or something like that. I don't know.
It was tied.
It was tied.
I thought Bengals came back. I thought Bengals came back.
Bengals came back in that. Yeah, and tied it. Yeah, that's right. It tied. So I mean, their record's not good, but I see potential there.
Right.
Like you say, with a couple right draft picks, I mean, it could. AFC North it's tough to watch. It's gonna be tough to watch. It's gonna be fun to watch.
Right. In my opinion, there's only probably 2 Bengals defensive players worth keeping around. They need an overhaul in that area, and they need to really protect Burrow because that O-line is kind of shaky.
And that's like the Bengals in the past. All these good Bengals teams had that defense.
Right.
They had them linebackers. They had them. They would smack and hit you.
They blew it against the Steelers in the playoffs because of those linebackers. Their heads were not in the game. You know what I mean?
So it's like talk about culture. That was their culture too, is defense, and that kind of got away.
Right.
So it's Bengals they might not be that much next year, but I think their years are.
They could be a 7-9-8 team with critical wins. Yeah. We got to take a break. When we come back, we're actually going to be talking about 2 major trades that happened in Cleveland. One today, one last week, one good, one bad. Right. We'll talk about that more here at 10 Cent Beer Night. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
These blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. Give me your right hand. The blues is a low down and a shaking chill. Yes, preach it now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. Let these blues is a low down and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a low down and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me 5 degrees. I can study the rain, or I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain, I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery, gonna stay out there all day. Up jump the devil!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 10-cent beer night. I'm Seth. This is Chris on PolymerCityRecords.com, the sports show that we have every Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for joining us tonight. We just talked all the football in the world, and now we're going to cut to a different sport. Our Cleveland Cavaliers are playing pretty tough right now. Really banged up, really injured, unfortunately, because their record would be bad. Right now, they're like 5-7, which, by the way, they're past without LeBron James. This is not bad.
Yeah.
That's considered a good record. Again, very injury prone. However, something big happened tonight. A massive trade, a 4-team trade happened that sent James Harden, superstar of the Houston Rockets, to the Brooklyn Nets, and the Cleveland Cavaliers were part of it. Let me read you real quick. Read you what that trade looked like at the end. For the Houston Rockets, they received the following players and picks: Victor Oladipo, who came from the Indiana Pacers in that trade; Dante Exum, point guard, that came from the Cleveland Cavaliers in that trade; Rdonis Krakus, I've never heard of him. I think he came from the Nets, possibly there. Yeah. They got 3 Brooklyn first-rounders. They're 2022, they're 2024, and 2026. So they kind of made it interesting. They did something similar the Boston Celtics did to the Nets, where they got future first-rounders and not right away first-rounders to get more value. They got Milwaukee Bucks 2022 unprotected pick. That came from the Cleveland Cavaliers. The pick lost its value when Giannis Antetokounmpo said that the best I could, signed a 5-year extension. So if he were to have left the team in the summer, that pick would add significant value. Now it doesn't anymore because, well, they have Giannis. Right. It's most likely a low first-round pick. And then they got 4 Brooklyn Nets first-round swaps, 2021, 2022, 2025, and 2027. a lot there. I think the Rockets did themselves right with that one, especially getting Oladipo to join not Kirk Cousins, DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall, who both are playing pretty well right now in Houston. It keeps them kind of relevant there. The Nets, of course, they get James Harden to join Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. If Kyrie Irving decides he wants to show up again, don't know what's going on with that. It's kind of weird, but. Again, James Harden is now with a starter. And DeAndre Jordan, too, is down there, too. Mm-hmm. Great defensive player. The Pacers get Karis LeVert and a second-round pick. LeVert is a great scoring guard in this league. He can also play small forward there. The Cleveland Cavaliers get center Jared Allen and then small forward Taurean Prince. So I did some research there for you Cavs fans. What does this mean here? First of all, Jared Allen, he is very similar to Andre Drummond in a way. Does not mean, don't jump the gun, that Drummond's time in here is done. Actually, Drummond was laughing at a tweet today that said that Allen, in about 2-3 years, Cavs lineup is going to be Allen at point guard, Drummond at power forward, Brook Lopez at center. They're going to have Rudy Gobert at shooting guard. It was a centers only lineup, and he was laughing about that. So he's in great spirits about adding Jared Allen. All right. So Jared Allen, a great player, actually was a big factor in the Nets making the playoffs last year. Okay, a double guy. So that sets up the lineup right now for centers. Andre Drummond at starting center. Maybe they put Allen at. They probably will put Nance at power forward right now while Love's healing up. But that gives Allen and JaVale McGee off the bench, which that's a heck of a trio of big men there. Taurean Prince, what he brings there is that's another forward to work with while Osman gets some rest. Okoro gets some work in to help develop his game. It's an all-around good deal for the Cavs. The Cavs only give up that Bucks pick and Dante Exum. That is it. They did cut Thon Maker and not Dante Exum, excuse me, they traded him. Yogi Ferrell. They did cut today to make room for these two guys. Contract situation, some of them might be worked out. So what does this mean with the contract situation? Taurean Prince is signed up until next year, so this is a role player they can keep going into next year. Not an expensive contract on an NBA standard. Jared Allen is a different story, though. Okay, he's going to be a restricted free agent next year. He was talking extension with Nets at this time last year. Actually, no, it was last month, excuse me. And they did not come to a deal because he wants about $90 million. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. So he's with the team this year. He's a restricted free agent, which means he's not unrestricted. He can't just go anywhere he wants. He's under with the Cavs. Somebody can give him an offer. Cavs got to match it or, or decline it. He goes to that team and they get some picks or whatever, But this is a guy, I think they gave up a first round because they want him here long term. So, moving ahead, that does mean, okay, we have to put Drummond's name out there, but I'll tell you why I don't think we should. But this does mean maybe a trade for Kevin Love is coming up soon. Because the way I look at it is, as much as I like Kevin Love, I know you like Kevin Love, your wife loves Kevin Love, you know what I mean? If she could replace you with Kevin Love, she probably could, but that's besides the point. He's done enough here in Cleveland, he could get number 0 retired if he wanted to. He helped win a championship, he was that third wheel there. He's an expensive contract and he's not playing a lot. Okay, he's hurt. He's not there. It's a shame because we'd love to see him. If this team is healthy, the record is better. Than 5-7 right now. Last night they lost a tough one because no Garland, no Sexton, no Drummond, no Windler, no Love. There's somebody else I'm missing too. They're just all Porter. They did have an update on him. They said he needs to get his life together before they can put him out on the floor.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be that's the problem there. That's going to take a while to...
Yeah. He's been hanging out with Carmelo Anthony and a couple other NBA stars just so they could talk to him, settle him down, be a good vet presence. I know Andre Drummond did the same. I think if I'm the Cavs front office, for the record, Kobe Altman's done a fantastic job, I think. His draft picks have been on par. It's going to be hard to see what we have to wait another 3-4 years to see exactly what they got as far as draft picks go. But so far, picks are improving. They're playing well. And we're going to see Windler back soon so we get a little gist of what he's going to do. Looking ahead, it is, I say, mandatory. they pay up and sign Andre Drummond long term. This is a guy 27 years old. He's got a lot left in the NBA. That is still young in the NBA. He's a leader. He's been playing well. They're saying right now, if the season ended today, defensive player is between him and LeBron James.
Right.
That's a compliment. He's been performing exceptionally well. If there is an All-Star game this year, he's going to be on that. He has to. There's no way around it. If he's not, then he got robbed. He is the I know he's the center of the floor, but he is the center of this team. If they want a young team that is going to win now and give them a lot of hope and build for the next couple of years, you have to sign this guy long term. You have to commit to him right now. And that's why I say I think a trade for Kevin Love is in the near future. I know some people are like, well, who's going to take him? Portland, he's from there. They want another star there to complement McCollum and Lillard. Call me crazy. All right, the Marcus Gasol thing hasn't worked well in LA. A couple other players. He might not start, but does LeBron want his old buddy back? You know, is there a 3 or 4 way trade like the Brooklyn Nets and the Houston Rockets made today that they could land Kevin Love there? I think that's in the cards. I really do. And that way they can sign Jared Allen to that long term. I think if you sign those two guys long term, and I know the question will be like, what about Sexton? What about that? That will come when it comes. You know what I mean? And these guys are so united right now, and they love playing here that you can talk them into staying long term when that time comes. But if you have these two weapons down there, you have an advantage than most, if not all, the league.
Right.
Like that's just how it. Like people want to take the big man out of the NBA. You can't. That's just it's part of the game. If the Cavaliers 2015, 16, 17, and 18 would have had Andre Drummond on that team, they would have won at least 3 of the 4 of those. I'm dead serious. Golden State did not have an inside game that could defeat a guy like Andre Drummond. You know, they just did it. We had Tristan Thompson. We had LeBron James. That was the big one. That just to keep the ball rolling there and have an advantage and to win in 2016. You have Andre Drummond down there. That would have been hell in a handbasket for Golden State, you know. And it's going to be like for a lot of these teams that are playing small ball. Overall, I'll give the Cavs an A. They got, again, 2 great role players. Again, Allen joins Sexton, Garland, Porter, Windler. All those players are under 23 years old, 23 under. But Jared Allen plays at a high level. Cavs walked out great with this trade here. How do you feel about that?
I like the trade. Yeah, I think it blends in with all these young players. You know, I think now with Allen, all them guys, Allen coming in, you know, maybe can shake up the lineup a little bit with all these injuries. So I wouldn't mind seeing Osman come off the bench, Chetty come off the bench. He plays better off the bench, but I know with these injuries have been kind of hard for him coming off the bench. He's having to start. But yeah, I think it's a good. Cavs are playing tough. That's one thing. You know, the games they've been losing, what shortage they've been short-handed. They've been playing tough. JB is a good coach. He has these guys ready to go every night. It's fun to see energy. Cavs team with energy. They're running up and down. They're moving the ball. They're playing defense. Yeah, they might not be winning.
They play tough all 4 quarters.
Yeah. So it's fun to see the energy in Cleveland.
J.B. Bickerstaff is bringing something similar. Tito Francona and Kevin Stefanski brought to their teams where the environment has changed. It's about hustle. It's about winning. It's about uniting and putting together. And the thing I would like to see, I was bringing up the comparison of what I like to see Stefanski and the Browns do. As far as J.B. and the Cavs, I would love, because we're used to the LeBron James story. That was a once-in-a-lifetime special time. You know, a kid just a little south of Cleveland, grew up and became the best player in the world and came to Cleveland and broke our hearts that time, but at the same time he came back and he broke the curse. You know what I mean? And he's no longer with us. I wish him well. I congratulate him when he won the championship. Not personally, but you know, I was happy for him is what I'm trying to say. So what the Cavs? They might not find a LeBron James type player going on here. I mean, that again, it's rare. I would like to see them build something similar to the San Antonio Spurs with Popovich and Tim Duncan brought to the table. Mm-hmm. A team that was consistently united, consistently winning, won 5 championships in a 10, 12-year span.
Right, yeah.
That's huge. You know what I mean? And that's what I like to see. And the Spurs, they're good at different levels too. Like, I know this is the kind of thing you don't pay attention to, but me growing up studying communications at Kent State University, being in the sports industry for a little bit, the number one team, and this has been this way for a long time, probably 12 more years, in all sports in the United States of America, when it comes to their fan base, is the San Antonio Spurs. Right. Because they have a way with their fans, whether it's promotions, the marketing, whatnot, that they are always bringing in fans, always watched. Again, well, they have that consistency, too. That's kind of easy, too. But they always have that image on and off the court. We are going to be the best, And I would love to see the Cavaliers do that. And as far as the fans go, Cavaliers have been in that top 5 for a while. They were saying that first year without LeBron, not when he went to the Heat, how terrible that team was. We were in the top 5 of most watched games and fan bases attending and on TV in the league. And we were losing 20 in a row or whatever it was. And people were still paying attention because they cared. They loved this team. And that's what I want to see them build here. And I'm not mad with the 5 and 7 start. Again, I have to take into accountability. These guys are hurt. If they were 100%, I'm dead serious. They'd probably be at least 9-3 right now. Right. They'd be hanging in there.
Like the way their schedule has lined up too, they played against caliber team that they should beat.
Right. They got the Lakers coming up too.
Yeah, 25th.
Not saying they should beat it, but it's going to be a tough one.
They'll play Lakers tough. They always do.
They do.
Ever since LeBron left. They've always played LeBron tough.
Right.
They get up for that game. They've always played him tough.
Right. And I'm sure he notices it and he likes that too. I mean, they're just not going to slack off for anybody. But good trade by the Cavs. Yeah. Interesting time. And I think it was forced because James Harden situation last night in the media. Yeah. It was time to let him go. If you're not... And I will say, okay, this is a player. He's a fantastic player. But if a city and a team and organization has gone all out for you and you're going to act like this, you need to go.
Like pretty much, you get skunked last night by the Lakers.
Right.
Of course, it's pretty much why you even playing. Right. You don't want to play.
Right.
You're out there pretty much laying down.
Right.
For a team you don't want to play for. I mean, it's a bad situation what happened there in Houston with Harden.
Right.
It was unprofessional out on his part. They is a good player, but I don't know how it's going to work out in Jersey. I don't know. No. It's going to be very interesting to see because sometimes Harden, Brooklyn, Brooklyn.
We grew up neutral. Well, no, he brings up a good point. I brought up something before we had the show today. Kyrie Irving started his career out in Cleveland. We liked him a lot. Yeah. Kyrie's had an attitude change within the past couple of years and whatnot. Disappointing. He's not playing. Mm-hmm. Maybe he'll come out now because James Harden there. Back, we're going a few years when LeBron's Miami days, okay, they did play the Oklahoma City Thunder in that championship team. Oklahoma City drafted really well, obviously, okay? And the story was brought up. Why did they trade James Harden? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it slipped out. It was more Russell Westbrook, I think, let the story out. One of them did. It was either Durant or Westbrook. They said, as a team, we all agreed not to take the max. We said, we're going to take a discount so we can add more and we can win multiple championships. Harden was the only one that was not on board with that. Mm-hmm. He wanted his max contract, and at the time he wasn't even a starter. He was going to end up being. And they had lost the championship. They got frustrated with him. It started locker room issues. So then we fast forward to last year. Russell Westbrook and him are together again. They won some games, but something seemed off. Mm-hmm. Westbrook gets shipped to D.C. Now he's back with Durant. Is it going to be rocky again? Just kind of like it was with Westbrook last year where they didn't forget that? Right. Or are they going to say, like, all right, you're here now, let's play together. And this is a big deal because usually we see this from a West team. This is going to affect the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is an East team. You got your former star, Kyrie Irving, if he decides to show up. You have Kevin Durant and James Harden and DeAndre Jordan. But at the same time, they did give up 2 role players.
Yeah.
Or you want to see 3 if you want to throw it out there. They got Harris too. Josh Harris, your former second round pick, who didn't really get much of a chance, but he's ended up playing very good. Kyle Korver type player. This is going to be very interesting how this pans out. I will tell you what I love about this Cavaliers team is I'm sick and tired of drama in the NBA. I'm sick and tired of egos. This team does not have it, and I'm so happy, And that's the thing is, as much as I like Kyrie on the court, I do not miss in that first non-LeBron James era the drama between him and Deion Waiters, how it affected the court, and they just were not fun to watch after a while.
Yeah.
This team, Colin Sexton, Porter Jr., even here or not, Garland, Windler, and they all want to play with each other. Okoro in the mix, and you got the veteran presence. You didn't really have that the first time around.
Right.
Now you have Nance, Drummond, Love. Part of me does think, because we only have a few minutes left and we want to talk about the other trade, part of me does think Cavs might hold off on the Love trade for now and say, let's play the whole group together and then maybe
see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Because eventually, if they want to keep Jared Allen long term, they have to make a move. You know what I mean? If they want to keep both him and Drummond, they got to make a move. All right, Chris, real quick, we got to talk about one trade that Cleveland fans did not like, and I'm talking more about the Cleveland Indians. Last week, the anticipated trade happened. Francisco Lindor and, unfortunately, starting pitcher Carlos Carrasco have been sent to the New York Mets for shortstop Ahmed Rosario, Andres Gimenez, an infielder, made his debut last year as a rookie with the Mets, and starting pitching prospect Josh Wolf and outfielder Isaiah Green, both expected to make the Double-A Akron team. That's what they're guessing right now. Again, we don't know until spring training. You like baseball, you pay attention to the Indians and everything. How are you feeling about it? You don't have as strong an opinion as I do about it, but Francisco Lindor, he's with the Mets now.
Yeah, I think it's crazy you trade your best player, but it shows that you got no money.
Right.
So, I mean, it's pretty much, you can almost call the Indians a farm league, for other teams, because pretty much, they've shipped off good players to other teams over the years. You got no money, you can't do anything, you got no money, so pretty much I've heard a rumor that Progressive Field is their rent due, whatever is up.
2023.
So there's potential rumors of maybe moving. I don't know how true that is. So with the trade like this happening, you can almost see the writing on the wall.
Right.
Possibly moving, and with the name change and all that stuff going on, seems like there's a lot of stuff going on that you don't want to see for a franchise or organization to go through. But they got no money, you can't pay the guys, and you give away your best player, fan favorite. Fans love Lindor. A lot of fans come just to see him. It's crazy. Cookie's gone too. So it's crazy. I know I'm not really shocked the trade happened, but I'm kind of shocked. I thought maybe they're going to do one more year with Lindor. I'm kind of shocked how fast it happened.
It was his last year this year.
Yeah, I thought they were going to just play him out this year, then let him go. But yeah, it is what it is, though. I mean, you got no money. You can't pay the guys.
My attitude, Chris, is the Cleveland Indians to me are like the Pittsburgh Steelers to you. Yeah. That's like part of my soul.
Right.
So I anticipated the Lindor trade happening. And I knew Enonetti and Sharonoff are two great front office guys. They've been targeted by other teams because they are so good at what they do, but they love being here. When I saw the trade, the first thing that came to mind is I said, boy, you're going to make this divorce easy. And what I meant by that is I knew Lindor was going to get traded. Carlos Carrasco has done so much more for the Cleveland community than a lot of athletes have done. And he's, after the leukemia episode 2, and for him to come out and do what he did was amazing, okay? He got a contract extension about a year ago, which was that $12 million a year type thing. He earned that, and then you just ship him off at that point. I do believe, personally, me and your father-in-law have talked on here about the name change and everything. I do believe it's business-related, not people-related.
Right.
They got the okay from the Native Americans during his meeting last year that they said, we don't have a problem with the name. We only had a problem with Chief Wahoo.
Yeah.
He got the green light, so why are they changing the name? Well, it's business reasons,
Yeah.
you know. He wants to sell the team. He couldn't sell with the Indians name. So, and we knew next year was going to be a mini rebuild. What I meant by that is the pitching is going to be great in keeping the games. There's going to be a lot of new hitters and faces. Nolan Jones. There's an outfielder I can't think of now. I'm looking forward to being played with. But so they trade Lindor. The package I don't think was enough. Okay, to break it down real quick, Amin Rosario. Mets gave up on him. He might be a backup infielder off the bench, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're saying he's not going to be the starting shortstop. Andres Jimenez will most likely be the shortstop. They think he's fitting there. I know we're going to go a little over there. I want to finish my thoughts here real quick. Then you got two guys who you might not ever see in Cleveland. By the time they're ready, the team could have been moved, or, you know, if you do see them, they're going to be under a different name. My attitude is you should have traded him last year. He did not show up last year. He had a bad year last year, I will say that. You could have got more with him. You should have got more with him. And so, again, it's another star player gone. And I understand he asked for unholy amounts of money on a small market team, you know. My attitude now is Paul Dolan once said enjoy him. Paul Dolan, enjoy us. Because after next year, we're going to be gone. I'm dead serious. That's how I feel about this. You look at what Carlos Carrasco has done for this community, and you ship him off without any thought. Well, we need to ship $12 million. Well, I can tell you where you can send that $12 million. Okay, I'm just being honest right now. All right, we do have great depth in starting pitching. Next year could be a fun year still. You know, so moving forward, here's the latest rumors because we got to wrap it up here. Cesar Hernandez might come back for second base because now they got more money. They have, you know, Jason Kipnis' name's been brought up about a return. Michael Brantley's name's been brought up a return. He's still a free agent. Nobody's touched him. Andrew Benintendi from the Red Sox is up for trade. The rumor is Indians could be interested. That's another outfielder for you there. I still plan on going to games. I still plan on attending. But this whole thing is a smack in the face to the Cleveland fan base. So whatever you change the name to, it better be good because I have a hard time seeing you with great attendance in 22 and 23. That's all I have to say there. But on that note, go Browns. Thank you guys for watching. Seriously, thank you for Chris for coming in. We'll see you next week. Maybe schedule depending, I guess.
Yeah, schedule depending.
You know, and we'll talk about football, win or lose, but we'll concentrate on the Browns. Browns beat the Chiefs. Come on.
Union. Go Mount Union.
Mount Union. There you go. So, something different. Mount Union there. All right, we'll take Mount Union. You guys have a good one. We'll see you next Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern Time.